Hello, you're with Chris at HDpiano, and welcome to our lesson on Coloratura by Coldplay. This is a 10-minute epic that Coldplay just released, and we are so excited to teach it to you. Let's learn the intro and the first verse. Here we go from the beginning. 3, 4. Interlude 1. These chords are the voicings on the verses laid out as whole note chords. So remember these chord shapes, you'll see them a lot. Our harp interlude. And then Chris Martin enters for the first verse. And that's where I want to pause for now. So this is such a beautiful piece of music, and for the first time in HDpiano history, we're going to split it up into 3 sections with 3 instructors. So I'm going to teach you the first third of the piece, then Ted will take you through the interludes, and then Dan will teach you all the way to the end. So we're going to cover what I just played for you in this first video, and at hdpiano.com you can find lessons for all 10 minutes of this piece. So let's start out with that piano intro that's so beautiful. Now this is easier than it might sound. Look at my left hand to start. I'm playing steady quarter notes on G and D. That's 60 quarter notes per minute, 4/4. And my right hand is actually just playing a 5-note pattern over and over in different permutations, in different orders. These 5 notes are B, A, G, and D, then B again, an octave lower. Now that's our first melody, our first line. It's going down this shape, then go up the way you came, D, G, D. That's the next part of the line, followed by A, G, A, B, and back down, A, G, D, B. Okay, so always within this 5-note shape, with just different orders depending on the beat you're on. And that goes together with the left hand like that. These are 16th notes, so there are 4 for every beat. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, and so on. And the only other detail is adding my right hand thumb on B on each downbeat together with the left hand. 1, 2, hold it out right here in my thumb while I'm playing this melody in the top of my right hand. Let's play that one more time. Make sure you're using sustain pedal. Keep this nice and soft and flowing. And then we're going to repeat this one more time with just a couple variations. To start, you're going to go down the same way, then add an F sharp right there on beat 2. 2 E and then back to the same pattern, A, G, A, B, then down the same way, A, G, D, but you land on A now instead of B. And in my left hand, I'm flipping this G and D around, so it's D and G up here. So F sharp, and then A to end the first chord that we hear in this song, G major. That's what we've been playing. All right, so we're on our G chord. And then we're gonna bring it down to D. We're very much in the key of D major in this song. Just for a quick review, a D major scale has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. And these are going to be a lot of the black notes that we see throughout the rest of this piece. So when we move to this second chord in the intro, D and A in the left hand, same shape as before. We were here, and now we're here. All right, pinky and thumb moving down to D and A. And I still have a 5-note pattern in my right hand. A, G, F sharp, D, A. We were here, and now we're here. So, put that together, you'll see the motion in the pattern is almost exactly the same as what we were playing a second ago on G. Let's name the notes. A, G, F sharp, D, A, D, F sharp, D, G, F sharp, G, A, G, F sharp, D, A. All within this 5-note shape. Make that nice and flowing, like so. You can add your right hand thumb on beats 1, 2, and 3. 2, 3, 4, and then this is followed with almost the exact same thing in your right hand, but your left hand has moved to B and F sharp. Okay, still quarter notes. And the pattern is going to start the exact same way as what you just played over D and A. But then here, just repeat that last phrase one more time on beat 4. 4, E, and then you're back to where you started, the G chord. Let's try that in context. So starting on this new chord, B and F sharp, but with that same line we played over D and A in the right. All right, repeating that final phrase twice to lead you back to where you started. Then this final part of the intro has one new note in the left hand, moving this D up to E. The line is going to be the exact same as what we just learned at the beginning, except at the end, slow it down, the ritardando, and then we're going to end with this E in the right hand. Hold that out with the fermata, and that's how we wrap up that piano intro. And that's followed by the interlude, which is actually just the verse chord progression. So that is your introduction. Why don't I play it for you one more time slowly, see if you can play it along with me. Keep it nice and pianissimo, nice and pedaled up. Lots of sustain pedal to keep this flowing. Here we go, from the top of the intro. Shape number 1. Variation. Left hand goes up and back down. Up and the left. Repeat that melody. Back to where you began. Up to E in the left. Slow it down. Now, learn these chords with me. And remember that these will be the exact voicings we need to play the verses. A, D, and F sharp is our first chord. That's a D major triad, flipped around so A is on the bottom. D octaves in the left. We're going to be playing D under every chord in this section. It's going to be true for the verses as well. Here is your second chord, B flat, E, D, G, from here to here. Then B, D, F sharp, A, chord number 3. The chord number 4, C, D, G, A. Let's put those first 4 together. Then just move that C from here to down to B. Then back to the second chord, B flat, D, E, and G. Then resolve home to D with A in your right hand thumb. Let's play that whole progression one more time. These are all whole note chords with fermatas being held out as long as you feel like. And if you want to give it more of the feeling of the original recording, Try holding down the pedal and wiggling your fingers around, rolling the sound. But try to practice them as just block chords, like so, to start. Then the harp enters with this beautiful line. Those notes are E, F sharp, B, G sharp, up the octave, D, F sharp. Okay, so play this chord, then fill in the quarter notes. Hold that out, one more D, up the octave. And there you have it, that is your interlude. And I recommend practicing those whole note chords a lot before you dive into the verse, because that's going to give you all the essentials of this chord progression. But let's check out the verse now. We're going to bump the tempo up to 64 quarter notes per minute. Let me do a little playthrough of the first bit. See if you notice any patterns. And that's where I want to pause for now. So you might have noticed that my left hand is only playing Ds with the occasional A in between. And I'll get into the rhythm of that in just a second, but just know it's a D pedal throughout this whole verse in the left hand. In my right hand, I have that chord we were just playing in the interlude to start. A, D, F sharp, split it up into two parts, high and low. Okay, and the lower note will always be by itself. You're playing the rest of the chord in the higher part of your right hand. So from here to here, back and forth, those are all eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and A. On beat 4, I'm going to change that to a 16th 4 E and A. You're going to hear that rhythm over and over throughout this first verse. And then we're moving through the chord progression the same way as the interlude. So the next chord is D, E, G, down to B flat. Back and forth, 3 and 4 E and A, same rhythm. Up to chord number 3, D, F sharp, A. Alternate between that and B. Chord number 4, D, G, and A. Rock and back and forth between that and C. Now chord number 5, bring C down to B, rock back and forth. Back to chord number 2, that same shape, D, E, and G, down to B flat. Okay, so it's a 6 measure verse actually, a little bit of an odd phrasing. But this rhythm stays the same throughout. 4 E and a 1. Octaves in the left, always on the downbeat. There's one more trick with the left hand. I want to show you that right now. You're going to add in a 16th note before beats 2 and beats 3. 1, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So sometimes it's all 4 beats, 2, 3, 4, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. D and A will fall on the last 16ths, beat 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like so. Okay, so this is just coming right before each new D and F sharp, or whatever the chord may be. The top part of each of these chords is always on 1, 2, 3, 4, and this left hand octave is going to come just before that. Anticipating, like that. D, A as your pickup. D, A. Same thing there. And there's one extra syncopation here at the end of verse 1. 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Dividing the beat 3 into 16th notes as well. 3 E and A, 4 E and A, but still splitting up this chord into two parts like we have been the whole time. And that is the end of verse 1. Why don't I do a little playthrough of that intro? I'll skip over the interlude since it's just outlining those verse chords in whole notes. I'll play the intro and verse 1 for you guys, and then I'll see you at HDpiano.com for the rest of the lesson, and Ted and Dan will see you over there as well. This is a 3-instructor lesson for the first time in HDpiano history. Be sure to check that out at HDpiano.com if you're not already there. All right, from that intro, one more time. 3, 4. Fast forward to the first verse. That's where I want to pause for now. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for learning these first sections of Coloratura with me, and I'll see you at HDpiano.com for the rest. All right, great job making it this far. If you're already at HDpiano.com, go ahead and click on the next video, and if you're not, head on over there to keep learning the rest of the song. In the meantime, stay in touch with us on social media. On YouTube, drop a comment, like, and subscribe. If you have song ideas, send them to requests.hdpiano.com. My name is Chris with HDpiano, and I'll see you around.